It's 4:49 p.m. Monday, the 27th of November, 2023. I've had a wonderful afternoon. I've been listening to a show on the internet probably at least for 2 hours. And then somebody called and interrupted me, but I thought I'd shoot this video because it's just relevant. It's interesting how things work. I was thinking about Argentina, about Punaho, and I'm at a graveyard here in Payson, Utah. Look at that. Christensen. Families are forever. I happen to believe that. And folks, this country, by the way, I give Trump an A. This country was founded so that we could have freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom to think and talk and worship however we want to do it. And fundamentally, it's a Christian nation. But, if you're in Jackson County, Missouri, and you want to believe in a yellow dog, you really have the right to believe in a yellow dog. If you're Mormon and you want to believe in the Book of Mormon, you have a right to do that. If you choose not to go to the Mormon church anymore because you believe in things that are outside the Book of Mormon, you can do that. If you find the Book of Enoch and it resonates with you. I came across I think it's a rare publication, The Testament of Levi. I know it's rare. And I just read it. But, so listening to these people talk, it was very interesting. And then one guy brought up Elvis's Preacher, and I thought Elvis's Preacher, and the other guy in the program was thinking the same thing at the same instant. So I really enjoyed it. I lived in Argentina 6 years, and since Trump's going to Argentina, I guess today or tomorrow, I'm going to talk a little bit about Argentina. Argentina is a beautiful country. I moved down there in 1963. A gentleman named Edgar Kaiser hired my father to work. He built a car factory right in the smack dab in the middle of Argentina called Industria Kaiser Argentina. And so we were like lower middle class. My dad went to Stanford, and we're living in Mountain View. Next thing, I'm in Argentina in a private school, and I really enjoyed living in Argentina. And my dad took one of the cars, a Renault Dolphin, and he drove it across the Andes, which makes the Rocky Mountains look tiny. We saw the Hard Day's Night by the Beatles, and so I've understood inflation since I was a child. And Argentina back, I think in the 20s and 30s, was the 5th largest economy in the world. Has a lot of great natural resources. I loved living there, beautiful country. Hay mucho ganado como aquí. There's like a lot of wonderful beef and cows and prairies and pampa. And these guys were talking a little bit about Antarctica. But in Spanish, the bottom part of Argentina se llama Tierra del Fuego, land of fire, which is pretty interesting. But it kind of makes sense. When you learn about survival, and you got to learn about staying warm when you're in Utah and it's 20 degrees. If you just go into the ground a little bit, it's 55 degrees year round, roughly. So the animals go underground, and if I didn't have modern conveniences, which I recently got heat to where I live, so I'm happy about that, I would go into the ground a little bit. So Punaho High School, I was thinking about that. We had a track meet against Punaho. My dad arranged it in 75. And I kicked their bum in the shot put, another high school called St. Louis, but I didn't realize that Field lived over there. I guess his sister went there. And one badass mistake, America went there too. I knew that, before he became elected. He was a bad guy. But we learn truth at our own level. these two guys were talking about miracles. And I think the resurgence of essential oils started right around here with a guy named Gary Young, who bought 1,000 acres, which I almost bought when I came out here before I got cut off from the family money. And Gary Young, really developed essential oils. And so, like when Jesus would heal people, he would put frankincense on the crown of their head. And when you study essential oils, it's so high frequency, very high frequency, that it would heal people instantly. And so for instance, if you're having respiratory problems and you sniff some high quality therapeutic grade peppermint oil, it'll relieve your congestion within seconds. If you're depressed and you have Bulgarian rose oil, which is pretty expensive, it'll relieve your depression in 1 second. So what some people think are miracles are actually just scientific things happening. And it was pretty fascinating. It was kind of a long session with these two gentlemen talking, but I was so grateful to listen to it. And the guy was driving around, and then he ended up at a cemetery. And it's pretty profound for me because I was driving around and I'm at a cemetery now. But it makes you think. I mean, everybody resurrects. Very few don't resurrect, and those are only the sons of perdition. But your resurrection depends on how you live your life. If somebody likes to be mean to people and be a bully and beat up people and do mean things, in the next life, they're going to be around people like them. If somebody else likes to be thoughtful, and they've got $20 in their wallet, and they see somebody less fortunate, and that's all they got, and they give them the $20. Those are the kind of people I want to be around in the next life. So I believe we should all live and let live. If somebody wants to be born again, non-born again, worship in a tent, worship in a temple, worship outside a temple. But I personally believe when you just kind of get away and spend some time by yourself, this world isn't full of caca, bullshit, as people said. Sure, there's a lot of bad stuff here, but look at the beauty here. There's been a lot of civilizations that have been here, and there's been a lot of good and a lot of evil. Wow, I was so involved in this conversation with these two guys. It was probably at least 2 hours long. That's Mountain Timpanogos over there. But resurrection is an ordinance. It's a priesthood ordinance. And how wonderful. It's hard to talk on the internet because, you kind of have to seek first to understand, then to be understood. But people are going to resurrect. And if a couple's truly in love and they're good, and I know this personally because you find out things, whether it's your gut or the Holy Ghost or God tells you directly or you search it out in the scriptures. But husbands will resurrect their wife. It's an ordinance. And if you've ever known a little baby that died, when you get to be my age, people that have died. Like both my parents are dead. I can't wait to it'll be nice to see him again. Okay. So, Trump in Argentina, economically I'm studying that. But it looks like the new guy, Mr. Tom was talking about how cool his code is. But I'm thinking that he wants to go to the US dollar. I understand his WEF connections, but if Trump goes down there and he goes to a new dollar, obviously this one is like a fiat dollar. It's so obvo, but I have to kind of try to fit into this world a little bit.